Hey guys, Jen here. I'm going to wait for some more people to join in. We just barely missed what was kind of a concert going on. So I'm going to see if anyone else is setting up or what's happening. Down here in front of Lafayette Square Park, sorry, right here you can see behind me the fence that Trump had erected, and now, yes, the baby gate as people are calling it, that Trump had erected and is now filled with artwork, with protest signs. I'm hoping people start singing again. I heard a rumor that Bob Marley's daughter was down here singing, so we just caught the tail end. Smash the like button, share the stream. There are definitely not as many people out here tonight, this evening, as there were yesterday. It's Sunday night, so that's no surprise. Here's the Black Lives Matter sign that people have been taking pictures in front of all day. It had been part of the march. There is no curfew in DC for those asking. That was lifted because there have not been any arrests due to protests since Tuesday. There's a little bit of a scuffle going on over there, so I'm going to stay away from that.
Thank you. Why? Thank you, man. Why doesn't the police department get the training of the military? Why? Rules of engagement. Why? Be a member of the armed forces. Go out there and unlawfully kill somebody. Watch what happens to your butt. Just watch. You'll be in the bridge so quick it ain't gonna be funny. Please, someone else talk. Tell me why you're out here.
Real quick, I just want to say, tell the people in power, take responsibility and action and not lives, okay? We walk out here in the midst of people who are supposed to protect us. The same people who are supposed to protect us are killing us. Racism didn't go away, mind you, it evolved. Hi, everyone. I understand a lot of you guys are about to leave because it is getting dark. I just want to say before you all leave, don't let this movement become a trend. Support the lives of my brothers, my sisters, my family members, your brothers, your sisters, our future children of America. Don't let this become a trend. Because my life is not a trend. Black lives are not a trend. Black lives matter, and my life fucking matters.
Amen. Black lives matter. 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 Black lives matter.
I was telling people just last night down there, I said, all of those people that have one parent that's black and the other parent might be white or Asian or Puerto Rican, that child is black.
Absolutely.
When the police pull them over, they're not looking for which one's the white side or the Puerto Rican side. They're going to kill that nigger that's in there. They're not looking for that. The man that occupied this house right here before the orange man here, Barack Obama, by having a black father and a white mother, was still subject to racism. It is said that one time one of the waiters mistaked him somewhere as being, somebody mistaked him as being a waiter. Now, being from Chicago, we've seen Barack and Michelle. What beautiful thing is it to have a president that can speak, that really tried to bring things together, and we went from that to this.
Cheetos, man.
Exactly. And the thing is, we can talk and we can get out here and hold up signs and take pictures and put them on Facebook and Instagram. You can add that to all your friends of 10,000 or 500 that you never met, but it makes you feel good because you have all these people that like you. But then we go home and get complacent. We don't do anything. We go back to our regular lives, and then we forget about voting because the racist Donald Trump, these people are getting out voting. And they're anticipating that we won't vote. I gotta hand it. They get out and vote. As
Mind defusing this bomb that's about to blow up over here?
say, come over here and join us. We feel your pain. We're upset too. Come over here and join us. Somebody bring that sister over here. I understand the guy that the homeless man that was mentioned what happened here a minute ago. I guess.
Who cares why they arguing?
It's
Who cares why they arguing?
It's
We're
stupid.
gonna
But I
say one
understand.
love.
One love.
One love.
One
One
love.
love.
One
One
love.
love.
One
One
love.
love.
One
One love. One love. One love.
So we have to get out and vote. The white people that are here, things will change with you guys getting involved. You know why? Because they'll listen to you. When they start seeing the young white people and the white people getting involved and seeing the shit get closer and closer to the doorstep, they start paying attention. Now, if you have black friends or black people that you love, or you just hate to see the injustice that you've seen now recently with George Floyd, we've always known about this, but you have to say something. You can't stand by and let that happen to your friend or just the injustice. I don't care if it's a black police officer, a white police officer in Brooklyn, New York. I told a line of police officers, I said, I'm not all against all of you, but I'm against the good ones that are not pointing out the bad ones. Because you share the badge and you're hiding. How in the hell are you going to tell us to snitch on each other and our brothers and you won't snitch on him? Next to you wearing the badge. That's hypocritical. So you have to have accountability. And if you're on the inside, and some of your children may want to be police officers. Our police chief in Chicago, he saw his brother get shot by the police. He wanted to become a police officer, and then he became a cop for 30 years, working on the inside because of the injustice that he saw. But we're against the bad police officers. The bad ones out there have to be rooted out. The same thing, racism is the biggest problem that America has. It affects so much. If you look at it, how much it affects, it goes across everything. Now, some things with us in the black community, some things are just family business that we got to get together and take care of ourselves.
Amen.
White folks can't help us with that. But the thing is, you can't tell us what our problems are. You can't tell us that because you have your own problems too. Some of the white people here, you all are riding in on privilege from 400 years ago by what your ancestors did to us. And for you to sit around and let it happen, that means you're benefiting from it and you've gotten comfortable. I can understand how if you've gotten comfortable, but now you got to get uncomfortable and say something, because if you don't, I know there's a guilt because you feel that you share white skin and you're getting blamed for it. I'm only blaming you if you don't do something today to stop to reverse what happened years ago. It's just like in the black community, if my brother kills another brother, I'm upset by that too. But it means something more when you have a person coming in a uniform to help save you and they come and kill you. That hurts a lot more. I'm not worried about coronavirus. I'm more likely to die by the hands of a police officer just walking across the street than get killed by that. The chances of me living with coronavirus is 94% survival rate. But I don't have those same chances being a black man in America. So don't just do something now and be here. Remember to vote. Remember, Donald Trump's people get out and they vote. Charlie Murphy said, Eddie Murphy's brother said, not all Donald Trump people are racist, but all racists vote for Donald Trump.
Amen.
The two that are obvious is that I'm a white guy. Second, I'm a little older than some of you. Three, I'm from the segregated South, Richmond, Virginia. Four, I cannot not be here. Five, my father in 1943, 44, 45, 46, and 47 was the first white leader in the 13-state South to put African Americans on the police and the fire department. And so doing it, it killed his career, and people told him, this is what's going to happen to you. And he said, I'm doing the right thing for the right reasons, at the right time, with the right people, for the right consequences. What are you doing? Hence, I cannot not be here. Black lives matter.
Amen.
If all lives are to matter.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
I'm gonna repeat what he said. I'm gonna repeat what he said because it was a little low, and I know folks in the back didn't hear him, and it was so important. He said a few things that were obvious. One, that he's white. Two, that he's old. So an old white guy.
Right.
And a few things that weren't obvious. He's a veteran. He's from the segregated South of Richmond, Virginia. And his father was, you said, the chief police?
Director of Public Safety over the police and the fire department.
Wow, wow. His father in Richmond, in segregated Richmond, was the director of public safety. Pretty much the boss of the both police and fire department. And his father made changes. His father put the first black folks on the police department of Richmond. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, exactly.
And he gave us the story that when his father did this, in those days and today,
They fired him.
it's a career ender.
Exactly.
Ended his career. And what did your father respond to them, sir?
He was the director of public safety over police and fire. Before they finished with him and fired him, he had put 18 on each force, a total of 36. You could get rid of one, but it was difficult to get rid of 36.
18 on each force, total of 36. You can get rid of one, but it's difficult to get rid of 36. The same holds true today. You can kill one of us, but it's difficult to kill all of us. It's impossible to kill all of us. You cannot take all of us out. We stay united as one heart, one mind, and one soul. You take one of us down, another one's going to get up.
That's right.
What Chuck World say? You can't stop us, and you know why. Because we don't die.
That's right.
We just multiply.
There you go. There you go.
You can't stop us, and you know why. Because we don't die, we just multiply. You can't stop us, and you know why. Because we don't die, we just multiply. You can't stop us, and you know why.
That's right.
We don't die, we just multiply. Hell yeah. Sir, from me to you, one, all of you, honestly, I love you. And I made a point, I literally make it a point, when I'm not around here, when I'm out and about at home or whatever, and I see my fellow brother and sister, especially my fellow brothers that I don't know, I'm making a point to say, hey, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. To you, sir, it's not enough tongues to say thank you.
Right, right.
I know how they can say thank you. Reparations is due. There is a bill in Congress called the H.R. 40 bill for reparations for African Americans. You must support the H.R. 40 bill for reparations. If you want to say sorry for the travesty of slavery, it's education. It's stimulus for my community.
Take your time, brother.
It's health care for my people. Reparation is due. Get your phones out. Google HR 40 and support this bill for reparations for African Americans. It is due. It is the time. If you must march, if you must protest, if you must riot, do it for reparations, because everything else is for naught. My feet hurt. I'm tired of screaming for the lives of my people and then coming out empty-handed. You owe my people education, stimulus, and health care. White America was suffering during COVID and y'all cut those checks. Well, guess what? We know it's there now. Reparation is due. You will pay this bill before I die. I swear to God. After your aspiration, we have to maintain order. She's after you, after her.
I'm on here today because I know George Floyd, his murderers, have been locked up. But I'm out here to speak up for Breonna Taylor.
Go ahead.
Okay? I am a black woman in
She's a
America.
black woman, y'all.
I'm from here.
Listen to her.
This right here, this is my city. Y'all standing right here in my city right now. Y'all understand me? That could have been me.
Right, right,
That could have been me.
Right.
Me and my boyfriend could have been in the house.
right.
Sleep. And the fucking police could have came in that motherfucker and murdered me.
In your house.
In my own motherfucking house.
Not violent. In the
And it happened. The police in St. Mary's County, they came in our motherfucking house looking for somebody that didn't even live there. Me and my man working hard at the postal service, doing everything the government telling us to fucking do. Get a job, be good. And what they do? Boom, boom, boom. Still knocking on our door. They show us the picture, he don't even fucking live there. We tell him we still let him search our fucking house. We let them in, yes sir, no sir. We abiding by the laws. They still violated our fucking home.
You're right, you're right.
Searched our shit for no fucking reason. This is my city that y'all in right now protesting. You gotta understand, this girl Breonna Taylor, she needs fucking justice. Do you hear me? Her murderers are still walking free. Speak up for black women. We out here.
No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
Talk, boss.
Hey, so
Talk up,
I
please.
got something sad to say, but I'm sitting on a good note. So just now, a man molested a young girl. She's probably like 5, 7, 8, real young. Real unfortunate. I saw it happen, and so I pushed him out of the circle before mob justice would come and rough him up. A lot of guys here wanted to smoke him. They wanted him done. He was homeless, mentally ill, and possibly on drugs. So when you say defund the police, we don't want to just say, fuck the police, fuck Trump. We also have solutions. We want to improve things.
Exactly.
We want to improve mental health.
Yes.
We want to improve homelessness.
Yes.
Exactly.
Give people housing.
Education.
Get people off of drugs. Just now, not an innocent man, but a man with the mental capacity of a 3-year-old was almost killed.
Yeah.
So when you say fuck the police, look at yourself. What would you do in a mob mentality if you didn't see it happen? Why are you so quick to be judge, jury, and executioner, but then you're upset when cops do the same damn thing? So don't sit out here acting high and mighty if you yourself do the same shit. Cut that out. Give them a chance. Give people a chance. However, speaking of chances, at Cheeto, time's up. November 3rd, none of the shit matters if you don't vote.
Right, that's right.
Weaponize the vote.
No.
Weaponize the
I've
vote.
heard some people talking about, you know what? I'm gonna change my Instagram to all black. Guess what? People in office, they don't care about your Instagram.
Right.
They're not your friend. They don't watch your stories. They don't give a shit about your Snapchat, your face filters, all them dog ears. They don't give a shit. Hey, if you think this is like hotel, if you think this is like Mardi Gras, go home. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to see you. This is a militant march. The Montgomery bus rides lasted 382 goddamn days. This ain't like a weekend. Don't think because you ain't got no job, nothing to do, you're out here partying in these streets. This is a war. We're unarmed.
It's not a block party.
This ain't no damn party.
It's not a
This is
festival.
not Coachella.
This
This
is
is not
picnic.
Burning Man. This is a war. Stay on your guard all day.
That's right. That's
Fox
right.
News is out there. CNN is out there. They're gonna see the worst of you. You do one thing. You slip up one goddamn time. They're on you.
Yep.
The judge makes time. He'll make time for you. You don't got time to lose. You already lost so many years. You lost hundreds of years. You got no more time to lose. So while you're out here, or when you go back home, educate yourself. Read up on laws. Read up on psychology. Read about how to talk to people who are racist. You gotta do it. No more avoiding and being apolitical. No more saying, oh, that's my drunk uncle. He's always rude at Thanksgiving. Like, no. Smash that shit right now. Or don't talk to him. Be like, yo. Like, don't be in my life. Everyone here was mad when Nicki Minaj's like brother or whatever was like a rapist, a child molester. But she was friends with him, so it was like, fuck Nicki. Like, if you're gonna hang out with racist people, fuck you. You are the company you keep.
There you go.
Cut them out of your life right now.
You don't
Tell
say
them like,
anything
yo,
about
like, I'm not gonna give you my attention. You don't deserve it. But for the future, the goal, yeah, it's not just fuck Trump. It's we're pro-black. We are pro-mental health. We are pro-affordable education. We are pro the future. It's not just fuck Trump. But I do got a song that I sing every time I cross Black Lives Matter Plaza. And it goes something like this. Sing along if you know the words. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. Na na na.
Sorry.
Na 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 na.
Hey.
Hey hey hey. Goodbye. See you later.
Exactly.
See Trump.
I don't want to see him later at all. I don't want to see him
That's
later.
right.
Unless he's in handcuffs.
Right. Vote him out.
Vote him out.
Vote him out.
Vote him out. Vote him out.
Vote him out. Vote him out. It's already on. It's already on.
Hey, no, my man. Chief, what's your name, bro? Anthony Tyler. Nice to meet you. My man from Chicago. What's your name, brother?
Marty, man.
Marty, nice to
Marty.
meet you.
Thank you, man.
How y'all doing, family?
Good, man.
I'm from Chicago too, brother.
Okay, there you go. Okay. 79th and College Grove, man.
2nd Marine Division, world's greatest Navy, Navy Corpsman.
Okay, baby.
Naval
Oh,
Medical.
thank you for your service. Thank you for protecting us.
All day. All
If
day.
you guys don't know what corpsmen do, Navy corpsmen, why this guy and everybody like him is so important. The Marine Corps is the only branch, it's called the President's branch, right? It's the only branch that the President can order and sustain full combat operations for up to 90 days without the approval of Congress. Why do I say that? Every Marine is a rifleman. So if you're a rifleman, you can't be a nurse. You can't be a field medic because your primary job as a Marine is to be a rifleman and to be a warrior. So why is this guy so important in the Navy? He's attached with Marines. So when Marines go down, folks like him are there to help.
Yep, back them up.
So thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, yo, family, real
Thank
quick.
you.
The reason why I'm down here, I'm heading to Chicago tonight, as a matter of fact. I'm about to get on the road right now.
Back in 2 weeks.
It has to be more than a damn t-shirt, excuse my language. It has to be more than a t-shirt. It's not just a hashtag.
Right. Speak it. Right.
I'm a medic, but I'm in IT, and prevention is cheaper than repair.
Amen.
Say it again. Say it again. I don't think they got you first time.
Think about that. Yep.
Prevention is cheaper than repair.
Yeah.
What's the solution? Our babies.
Yeah.
Our babies is the solution. And I know we mad, but we all got the same last name in heaven.
There you go. There you go.
The peace is in the faith. The peace is in the faith. I know we mad about before, but if it was any race that could take it and bounce back, it's us.
Hello.
Retribution for what?
Right.
We can create our own.
Exactly. Give me land, fuck money.
It's not about a handout.
right.
Let's give somebody a handout.
Fuck some money.
There you go.
It's about equality.
About the race, honestly.
It's about equality.
That's right.
Because if I'm a black man in Chicago, I'm going to stick up if the other races are oppressed too.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Because I took 2 oaths
That's right.
to protect and defend this country and to take care of the sick and the injured.
Yeah.
And that goes for everybody.
Yeah.
Amen. Them oaths never go away.
What's the solution? I'm going to walk to my car, whatever it is. Don't walk past another human being and don't say hello.
Amen.
Solution-based.
We are all connected.
My favorite superhero of all time. My dad. I just buried him last week. Amos Ellis, his birthday's tomorrow, so I'm going home. He went home.
His spirit is free.
He went home because God needed to use him. He was Black Theater in Chicago. Family, we got to be united through thought process and mindset. Anybody can scream, but my question is, if the NFL was playing, how many people would be here right now?
There you go.
There you go.
We'll be packed.
If the Redskins was playing, how many people would be here right now?
There you go.
If it was NBA playoffs,
Here's the question.
it's easy to be here when it's nice and sunny.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
But I love y'all for coming. I love everybody for just all coming together. But how many people don't know your own neighbors?
Yeah.
If you don't know your own neighbors, how are we gonna be preventative?
Right.
We gotta change the outcome.
Speak to each other.
It's bigger than I can talk to a female and I care about her financial future.
Right.
I don't gotta try to talk to her. I can say, young queen. Let me set the standard. I got 3 princesses, y'all. I'm a single dad of 3 most beautiful girls you've ever seen. Trinity, Elena, and Eden. And they know why it matters. But if Black Lives Matter, that means it always has.
But it shouldn't take death to appreciate life.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't take this.
Absolutely.
And hello, good morning, how are you, goes a long way.
There you go. And thank you.
If I could please. Can you walk over for a second? If she's walking to school and I go like this, maybe that young man who has a gun doesn't kill everybody. Maybe the young, you can go back to the but we can get preventative. You see somebody upset, use the Holy Spirit.
Right. Intervene. Talk to them.
Enough talk. It's easy to. It's easy to talk about it. It's easy to come down here and get a good backdrop.
Right.
But when you go back home, you're at the gas station. Are you avoiding human contact?
Yes.
Saying so.
Yes.
On your way back to your car. I gotta thank my brothers and sisters in service.
Fact.
Because they want to yell too.
Yeah.
Family. Yo, I'm Tyler Ellis, man. Anybody could always don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt others. Suicide prevention. To our queens, to our young kings. It's up to our people, the young people, to know better. Know better, do better than how I do, my man. Stand on my shoulders, but you're humble enough to not call yourself tall. My ceiling is my children's floor.
Absolutely.
I'm blessed to be around some of the best men I've ever met in my life. Omar Pryor, Mike LeBou. Men that I seen treat their wives, I ain't never seen it before.
Your father too. Your father.
Of course, these all conclude. That's day one. Mentorship, entrepreneurship.
Yes.
That's how we change it. I don't need nobody, I ain't raising nobody. I ain't asking nobody for nothing.
Right.
Don't ask nobody for no money.
And you can make it yourself.
First of all, we gotta understand what's the end game, what's the goal. It's eternity. This is temporary.
Right.
My brother Floyd, guess what? He's home. And there's nothing that we can say why he should leave to come back.
Right.
We don't like the way that it happened, but guess what? We was too caught up in our schedules. We was too caught up in our meetings. We was too caught up in our sports to pay attention. Because my question is, if Floyd went down the street, how many people would say hello?
Yeah.
How you doing, Floyd?
Right.
But he had to down for them to know his name.
Yeah.
Bullshit and our bullshit.
Around the world.
Because we in our bullshit. Fact.
At the end of the day, we gotta be united. 50,000 people voting for the power of one. Think about it. If 50,000 people say they want to build a bridge, build a bridge.
Exactly.
Fact.
Build a bridge.
Exactly.
What are they gonna do?
Right.
But the fucking bridge. That's what the fuck we
Family.
gonna do.
I appreciate you all. Please be safe. Be mindful. But let's take advantage. Entrepreneurship. Build your own. Passive, residual, ongoing. Be free. The more families we create,
And women
the
too.
more families we create, the less opposition. I love y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
So fucking strong. Strong as fuck.
Oh, y'all scared? Y'all running away? Y'all scared? Y'all tired?
All right, guys, 1 second here. Excuse me. Hi, you had some powerful words. Can I interview you?
Pardon?
Can I interview you just about your history, what you were speaking about?
Sure. Where are you from?
It's Status Coup, independent journalist.
Okay.
So I'll just interview on my phone and then give you the microphone.
Who takes
So tell,
your work?
we have our own company. So
Who do you send it to?
we have a YouTube channel, and sometimes it gets picked up by other outlets. So we're just interested in your story. Tell the audience again, who maybe didn't hear, your father's history, where you're from, the history of where you're from.
Yes, I'm from Richmond, Virginia. My family on my mother's side came here in 1621 to the county of Surrey, Virginia, right across the river from Jamestown, Virginia. We've been here ever since. On my father's side, they came in the 1740s, and they too have been here ever since. So we're a Southern family generally. My father was one of 9 children, and when I was born, there were 17 of us in the same house. I was the youngest of the 17, and I don't really remember it until I was around 3 years old. But we were all together in that house. Only 2 of the 17 had jobs. This was in the Depression in the 1930s. My father was one of those 2. He made $1,900 a year. And one of his sisters made $50 a month. And those 2 took care of themselves and 15 others, okay? My father was a leader of men. We are both graduates of a military academy, Virginia Military Institute in Lexington, Virginia. He of the class of 1925, myself from the class of 1962. I had the blessing, distinction, good luck, and position to be elected by my classmates president of our class all 4 years, and also president of the entire cadet corps my senior year. That's 1,200 people. I was a jock from age 7 to 17 and thought there would be no need to go to university. That would delay me 4 years at least from getting to the major leagues playing baseball. I played them all: baseball, basketball, football, track. Baseball, though, was the one. I not only loved it, I was obsessed with it. You could even say I wasn't just obsessed with it, I was addicted to it. Every waking moment was about baseball and how long it would take to get to the major leagues. I was religious then. I'd say my prayers on the floor in the room with my brothers, and I thank the Almighty for all of my blessings, especially my many, 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 many relatives. And then my last prayer was always, and please, God, help me make it to the major leagues and not spend too much time in the minor leagues on the way up.
Wow, that's really cool. Talk about your father's history with integrating Richmond, was it?
Yes, that's right. Yes, when my father graduated from Virginia Military Institute in the class of 1925, there was then a very young history, which became a quite extended one, of Richmond's largest high school. It was segregated then, having up to 600 boys in the cadet corps there, Corps of Cadets. And he had them for all 4 years usually. And then when unemployment was up to 23, 24, 25% among white people, higher still by far for African Americans, he was like a surrogate father to those 600 young men, 81 of whom died in the Battle of Normandy in June of 1944. And the successful, effective venture to liberate Europe a year before the war ended. He was such a good leader of those young men for 17 years in succession that General MacArthur, Douglas MacArthur, a famed American military hero and sort of the de facto governor general of Japan at the end of World War II, said, do not let that man serve overseas. Put him right where he is. Do not take him away. Well, the mayor of Virginia at that time was so impressed, as was the governor. The governor was Harry Byrd, the father of Harry Byrd Jr., who became a senator. Realized my father was good looking and a leader of young men. And he had my father work for him in the evening sometimes as director of protocol and fancy visiting people from other countries, their heads of state, prime ministers, and the like. And from there, the mayor took an interest in him, but too late because my father was sent to Mitchell Field Air Force Base on Long Island. It was the furthest U.S. Armed Forces base into the Atlantic. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was near Garden City and Hempstead, New York on Long Island. Before the war ended, the mayor of Richmond called him back and asked, would you be my director of public safety? This would put you over all the police, over all the fire departments, and all the relevant rules and regulations and laws pertaining to safety in the city. My father accepted that, and he being a moral man, a leader, principled, ethically laced in everything he did that would affect others than themselves. And most of the things he did were for people other than himself. Began to put African Americans on the police force almost as soon as he arrived. This was in 1944. This was 20 years before any other Southern leader did the same in Charleston or Atlanta or Charlotte, Savannah, and places like that. But he did not have federal law on his side. 20 years later, when others began to do it, yes, indeed, they had 3 laws on their side. The civil rights legislation of 1963, 64, 65, which President Johnson enacted into legislation while saying that this is going to cost me my career and the Democratic Party in the South. He was prophetic and visionary in that regard. My father had none of that, but he was nonstop. So by the time they got rid of him in 1947, 4 years later, he had put 18 on the police force and 18 on the fire department. One of those policemen caught 2 of my buddies and myself. We were jumping over a fence to get into a baseball game for the thrill of it. Even if he'd had the money, we would have done it because it seemed exciting. But what we didn't know was on the other side of that fence. And we jumped right into the arms of a policeman. And he gathered all 3 of us up and said, you're all 3 under arrest. We were 10 years old, okay? And he said, I'm taking you to juvenile detention home. This will follow you all the rest of your life. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my father's going to find out about this, and this will probably be the last day I live on earth. So I was trembling as the policeman began to take information from us. I was the last, and information of the parent's name, your address, your school, your grade, how do you spell your name, your telephone number, and address, that kind of basic information. I could not look up. I could only look at the grass. I was trembling so much on the outside and inside. And when he came to me, he asked me the same questions, and when it got to my name, and I said, Anthony, he paused and said, is that your first name or last name? And I said, it's my last name, sir. And he said, are you possibly any kin to James Coleman Anthony? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, like what kin? And I said, I'm his son. I'm his youngest son. If you can believe it, he closed his booking book. And that surprised all of us. And he pointed to his left wrist and said, boy, what's that? And I said, that's your watch. And he said, no, pointing to it again. And he said, no, no, no. What is that? And I said, it's your wrist, sir. He's not getting it, and I'm not getting it. So he asked another time, and he said, no, boy, what color is it? And I said, it's tan, sir. And he said, no, boy, it's black. And I looked up, and there were tears streaming down both of his cheeks. Here he is, fully armed, packing heat, so to speak, and he's sobbing uncontrollably, weeping in front of these 3 10-year-old boys. And he said, son, You don't know me, but your dad does. My name is Lieutenant Elliott. I was the first one that your father put on the police force. And we knew that he was going to have his career killed, and many of us said so. But he didn't stop. He did the right thing at the right time, in the right way, for the right people, and for the right consequences, because it certainly wasn't reversed. And he said to me, you go home and tell your father that Lieutenant Elliott caught you doing what you're doing, and he was astonished. But you please tell your father hello and thank you on behalf of all the rest of us. So they got rid of my father, and he predicted that that would happen.
Because he integrated the police and fire, is that why they got rid of him?
That's right, and it was 20 years ahead of his time because it was legally segregated cities. All 13 southern states were legally separated. If you do the research, you'll find out that for those 3 civil rights laws in 1963, 64, and 65, not one southern senator voted for any of the 3. 26 senators, not one voted for any of the 3, because that's how much the atmosphere was still receptive to racism, and the moment did not seem to be propitious for them to do the right thing, because they felt they would have been voted out of office as such. So that was the reality of the time. On top of what he did on integration, he introduced one-way streets to the city. And business people would write letters to the editor pointing out that this man is a goddamn communist. Before he came along, we had customers coming 2 different ways.
Wow, he sounds like quite a man. So would
They only come one way. And then the last thing he did was he thought, I wonder when the last time was when publicly licensed establishment had been inspected for safety. And he found out that they hadn't been inspected since 1926. So he had them all inspected, and he had found 2/3 of them short of the basic requirements, put stickers on all of them and said, you have 60 days to fix this, and if you haven't, we're shutting you down. You can see how these things endeared him.
Yeah.
In the business community. So that finished him.
Would you say, so you're here out at the Black Lives Matter protest, would you say you learned a lot from your father? Why are you here? What brought you here today?
Oh, I learned from him without him even teaching me. In other words, if one learns from people who lead by example, well, this is the example that he provided. He was revered not just by his sons, but by these 600 boys he had every year for 17 years, and their parents. Because their fathers had no employment, no dignity in the house, rampant humility. And he gave a sense of dignity and purpose and hopefulness to 600 boys a year, and lost 81 of them in D-Day in Normandy.
Wow. Would you mind telling me your name?
Yes, John Duke Anthony, 3 first names, relatively easy to remember. And yours?
My name is Jen. It was so nice to chat with you. Jen, yes.
What is your last name?
Dize. Jen Dize.
How do you spell it?
Dize.
D-I-V-E?
Z as in zebra.
As in deep dive?
Yeah. Z.
D-I-V-E?
Z. Zebra.
Oh, zebra.
Yeah, yeah.
D-I-Z-E.
Yeah, it's an unusual last name, but.
Business card somewhere.
Oh, great. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
What's going to happen to this other than your archives?
Well, it's going to be up on our YouTube channel. You can see or our website, statuscoup.com. So that's where it will be. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm 100%.
Yeah.
Protect yourself. If you start messing with you,
Yeah.
With or without attribution?
Yes, of course. You're welcome to use it in any way you want to.
Okay, with or without attribution?
Just for you, yes.
Yes,
I
okay.
think.
I got it. Who supports
Not usually, but yeah.
Who supports you financially?
Our viewers. We're completely independent totally funded by our viewers.
Where's your headquarters?
In New York City.
Oh, wow.
I live in Maryland, but we're
see.
headquartered in New York City.
Well, as you may imagine, from my accent, I'm from Brooklyn. No, I'm from Richmond,
Yeah,
Virginia.
you have the best Virginia accent I've ever heard. I love it.
Well, we were colonized pretty intensively and extensively by the British, and that may have something to do with it. But my wife is from New York.
Oh,
So
wow.
here's an unusual thing. A southern boy married a northern belle.
Well, it's so nice
Okay.
to meet you again.
So
You take care.
Dize and your first
Dize,
name?
Jen. Jennifer.
Do you have a card?
I don't, unfortunately. I forgot to bring them with me from Maryland.
Maybe if you can write on the back.
Sure. Yeah, if you have do you have a pen or? One second, guys.
How long have you been doing this?
A few years. I used to work in marketing, and then I switched to journalism, which was what I, was meant to be doing.
Yes. Did you go to journalism and mass communication school?
I didn't. I actually went to school for psychology, and then I taught school for 1 year, and first grade.
Pre-collegiate school?
I went to.
Pre-collegiate.
No, I went to college
Yes, but
for
you
teaching in
taught
psychology.
what
I taught
age?
6-year-olds, first graders.
Oh,
It was adorable.
Oh,
A great age.
I bet they all remember Ms. Dize.
Yes. But now my first graders are all graduated.
Where did you go to school?
St. Mary's College of Maryland.
Oh, yeah, in Annapolis. No,
It's,
in Emmitsburg. Right?
It's actually, so there's a St. Mary's College, but then the St. Mary's College of Maryland is down St. Mary's City, St. Mary's County, in Maryland, yeah.
Okay. It's not a big school, is it? It's
Not
little-
at all.
little
They call it the Public Honors College. It has about 2,500 students.
Oh, no,
Very
that's
small.
sizable. No, it's all relative.
Yeah.
And my military academy, we have 1,400, so almost twice that.
If you have any problems, I'm giving you my email address as well.
Okay. What is your, trying to get some statistics here, general.
Sure.
Receivership, or you send this out to...
We have 81,000 subscribers on our channel, so about that.
Got it.
Yeah.
And thank you. Roughly, what's an estimate of how many take your material?
It really depends. Except by other media or whatever.
What would you estimate this? I mean, it's timely, it's relevant in terms of national
Tens of
attention.
thousands of viewers. Some things we filmed have gotten taken off more than others, but we're out here and all over. We have journalists all over the country covering as well. So.
Okay. Well, this morning somebody sent me something, and my wife said, "Wow, sweetheart, look, you 270,464 people saw you night before last. Take a kneel, and heard you say that you did it because you believed in what Colin Kaepernick did.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
true.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, that must be a typographical error. And she said, no. Somebody picked it up. And
Wow.
by accident, really, a coincidence. I don't remember. I have given some interviews, but I don't recall giving one then. Somebody just heard me say that. When somebody said, why are you doing this? You're an old man.
Well, you're like a textbook of knowledge. Your history is incredible. It was so great to talk to you. I'm going to run and do some more interviews, but I really love chatting with you. Thank you. All right, guys. Sorry about that. What a great, cool guy, though. He truly is just a fountain of knowledge, a fountain of history. So the streets are clearing out. Again, if you're just joining, smash the like button, share this. We're right in front of the White House, which is blocked off by the the fence that Trump had erected, I wanted to update everyone that the 9 city council members in Minneapolis have committed to dismantling the MPD, the Minneapolis Police Department. So really interesting to see that protests are leading to what hopefully will turn into real action. You know, it's not official there, but they have a veto-proof majority, they're calling it. 9 out of 10 people. I'm gonna see if I can show you the White House through the fence here. There it is. Donnie's Castle. So, people are continuing to speak. There was dancing and singing earlier. There's still music over here, but I don't see much dancing. Maybe I'll walk down Black Lives Matter Plaza. I saw a rumor on Twitter that Bob Marley's daughter was down here, and I think I spotted her, but I was, hi. Yeah, of course. Oh, right here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. You got it? Thank you. Again, so good to meet you. So sweet. So yeah, things have really cleared out here. I know that Jordan sent me something that we are something away from our GoFundMe goal. Jordan, send me that again. I think it's 250 away from our next mini GoFundMe goal. I'm taking you guys over here to show you the defund the police. So we are $255 away from 108K in GoFundMe. Remember, guys, we don't just have that money sitting in the bank. We have spent it on travel, on equipment, and we need your support. There's no other way to put it. So anything that you can help with, $5, $10, $100, it all helps. Smash the like button, share this stream. Thank you guys all for watching, even though it's so late. So if you are just tuning into what's happening in DC, Black Lives Matter was painted by the city onto the street. They called this Black Lives Matter Plaza, so it's on 16th Street between H and I streets. So people called that performative and said, okay, Mayor Bowser, what are you actually going to do to make change? So last night, protesters painted over top, on the side of where it says Black Lives Matter, they painted defund the police in yellow street paint. So this is the defund. Here's the. And then you have police. So defund the police. Protesters painted that. So Mayor Bowser was asked if she's going to leave it there, and she didn't commit either way. So we'll see if it stays. She did say, oh, it's not part of the actual mural. So I don't know if she'll leave it. But you can see they repainted the stars because protesters had painted over the stars. So they repainted the stars. But you can see they wrote, not enough. So protesters, again, are calling it performative to simply, paint Black Lives Matter in the street and rename it Black Lives Matter Plaza. So protesters and activists have taken it into their own hands and called for things like defunding the police. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Definitely keep those coming. It really, really helps. Now, this hashtag says no new jails. There is Mayor Bowser is planning to have a new jail built in DC. And then this says M4BL, Movement for Black Lives. So far, the city has left it untouched. GoFundMe.com/status-coup-news. It helps so much. If you guys missed it, I did interviews earlier. I showed you protests and marches earlier. I've been out much of the day reporting and showing you what's happening in DC. Definitely a smaller crowd than last night, but there are protests planned for tomorrow as well.
But it's not illegal for the police to lie to you. I wish I knew the definition of hypocrisy, but that definitely sounds like it. We need change, and we're not going to stop until we achieve that change. Something's in the air. Folks are just marching.
We have 700 people watching. Please smash the like button, share this stream. I don't want to pull people away from where they're listening to the speakers to do some interviews. So I'll just go back and have you guys listen to the interviews when there's a good moment. I'll try to grab some interviews again. Whoops.
Hey, remember how we grew up, y'all? I invite folks to come up and explain why they're here.
Okay, so he's inviting people to come up and talk about why they're here. I'm going to try to get closer for you guys.
This is new to me, and that's not fair. And I have a unique journey that led me here specifically today. And I had a lot of time to think. I was actually through hiking the Appalachian Trail, and I did not get off for COVID. I did not get off from COVID from the Appalachian Trail. And I remember, as I was on this trail, I recognized that I was filled with white people. I recognized there's no diversity there, and I started to ask myself why that was, why it wasn't accessible, why it wasn't safe. And then I could forget about it, and that's fucked up, because that black man hiked on, and I didn't see another one. And I started to think, where is everybody? In my hometown of Chattanooga, Tennessee, it is white dominant, and it is full of the outdoors, and there is not a safe space for black people there. And that is fucked up, because this world was for all of us, and I love it, and I love you, and I want you with me, but you can't be, because of my skin color, because of my family, because of my ancestors, and I take responsibility for that. And when I am in my white space, in my safe space of the outdoors, and I see more people like me, I realize it is not safe. And that's not fair. So after this happened, I had hiked 26 miles, and I got to town, and I got to service, and I learned of the murder of George Floyd. And I looked around, there's more fucking white people, and I was at a Mexican restaurant just fucking eating, and nobody had paid attention, no one was on their phone looking at the news, and I saw it. And I realized that I was about to hike 21,000 miles across Appalachian Trail where I would never once be stopped by a police officer. No one would look at me twice. And black people cannot fucking walk in their own neighborhood. They cannot recreate. They cannot be safe outside. And I have the privilege to walk through 14 states without anybody looking at me twice. Because I'm white, because I'm female, I'm not a threat.
Nope.
And I looked around and I walked back into the woods and I went to sleep in my tent that night and I could not look away. And I hiked and I thought all day. And I looked around and it was fucked up. And I met someone who was going to DC yesterday. And everybody I knew in my white space was about to go on a river trip and continue their hike and look away. And I had to take that time to ask myself, what is my responsibility in this space? Can I perpetuate this? And I couldn't. I believe that I hiked 760 miles to be here with you today because I need to fucking wake up. I cannot stay in my microcosm. I cannot stay around people that are unwilling to listen. It is my job to make them listen. And by being here today, I have done just a little. And I see that. And I'm sorry, but I'm here and I'm gonna try. And the people that I left are going to see me and they're going to see you. And they will not forget, because I won't let them.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I wanted to answer a few questions for you, because you're still trying to kind of find your place. To all of our, I hate calling white people. I really do. Caucasian. I just do. And I hate calling black people, because the color of my clothes are black. And you can see me, so I'm not really blending in with this black, you know? Anyway, I'm more dark bronze, the same color of Jesus.
Exactly. Same color as Jesus. That's right.
That's a different story.
Go ahead and tell him.
But for one,
He says
you don't know your
black
place.
man. Jesus is a black man.
Killed by the government.
Exactly.
A black man killed by the government.
Exactly.
That's how long this has been going on. Like I said, we're trying to end the war. If you don't know your place, one, ask the Almighty God.
He'll tell you.
Get down on your knees and humble yourself.
That's right. He'll tell you.
And after you get down on your knees, meditate. When you have a conversation, it's two ways. You don't just say and talk and then go to bed, do you? When you're talking to your girlfriend, whatever, it's a two-way conversation. So when you have that conversation with the Almighty, you need to have that moment of meditation so you can also listen. So that's one. Two, we ask that you use your power. Like I said, nothing's going to change with us. Nothing's going to change on a federal level. Not at all. This thing has to change on a local level. Contact your local legislator. Change them old ass laws. Like the law that was enacted in 1802 during slavery. A law that was written during slavery. That mobilized the military against American citizens. Who's next?
Hello, everybody. The news article read, police station scuffle fatal. Chicago Heights, Illinois, March 17, 1968. Beldie Hubbard, 23, of Gary, Indiana, was wounded fatally by the accidental discharge of a policeman's gun during a police station scuffle, police said Saturday. Police said Sergeant Theodore France drew his gun to halt the fracas that developed after Hubbard and two men pursued Ellis Lofton
into the police station. Police said Francis' arm was bumped and the pistol fired, the bullet striking Hubbard. Police said Lofton of Chicago Heights rushed into the station and was pursued by Hubbard, Ronald Johnson, and Walter Bennett. They said Lofton had inflicted knife wounds on Bennett. Veldy Hubbard, 23 years old, 1968, was my mother's oldest brother.
Wow. Are you serious?
My mother's oldest brother. He lived in Gary, Indiana, working in the steel mill, had just bought a new car, and he and his friends went to Chicago Heights to celebrate the purchase of the new car. A white man got up and saw them drive up in the new car and asked, "Who did you steal the car from?" and began to fight the friend. My uncle was 6 feet 8 inches tall, 270 pounds. His friend fell into his arm and blood got on his shirt. The white man ran down the block into a police station that was as a storefront building. The police saw the white man run into the station and shot my uncle through his heart. And the official response was that it was an accident. So when you ask why am I here today, I'm here because my uncle Veldy Hubbard. Say his name. Veldy Hubbard. Veldy Hubbard.
Veldy Hubbard.
Say his name. Veldy Hubbard.
Veldy Hubbard.
Thank you for listening.
And here are some powerful speakers today, guys.
So my throat's a little sore. I'll try to be loud. I grew up, my father, he grew up, yeah, louder?
Yeah, louder, man.
Sorry, my bad. So, my dad used to read me, is that loud? Hello, is that better? Okay, so my dad used to read excerpts to me from How to Make a Slave by Willie Lynch. And it's a little short something some of you white folks should definitely check out. It's definitely deep, it's definitely dark, but it's just you know, it's something y'all crackers gotta read. I'm sorry, it's something y'all gotta read, you know? But I'm gonna read a little excerpt from it if that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry if it makes y'all uncomfortable. It is what it is.
I'm not sorry if you get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. You should be uncomfortable.
I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if I install correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and I make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences that think about them. On top of my list is age, but there is only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size of plantation, status of the plantation, and attitudes of owners. Whether the slaves live in the valley on the hills, east, the west, the north, the south, have finer hair, coarse hair, or tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I assure that you distrust. I assure that to you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulteration. Respect or admiration. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will self-refuel and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the females versus the males, and the males versus the females. You must also have white servants, aka the police, the overseers, who distrust all blacks. It's literally built into the fucking system.
Damn.
Who distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kids are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensively for 1 year, the slave themselves will remain in a perpetual, distrustful state. Thank you, gentlemen. The next part is Let's Make a Slave. Go home and Google it. What's his name? Willie Lynch. How to Make a Slave. Thank you.
Real quick, thank you for that truth, boss, because I've been telling people we can't have justice without truth. We can't have justice without truth. And no justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
What's up, y'all? I hope you don't mind me taking a moment as well. I hope it's also not like changing the vibe up too much because I got a megaphone of my own, but it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm not going to tell too much story about me because this shit ain't about me. But me and Cristiano is just sharing, and a group of 7 people came out here from Brooklyn today because we know what's happening and we can see it. And this is, as much as this shit is insane, what is happening in the world, we're only seeing what we're seeing right now because it's been far more insane than it ever should be for far too long. Now I told you I'm not going to tell you very much story, but the reason that I am here is because I want to own my privilege, and I want to use that privilege. And that's why I'm out here live streaming. I didn't give my friend Charlene my phone so that she could take a recording of me that I could save. I'm doing that because this is a message that needs to be spread. So use your phone, film the police, and get those messages out there. I come from a family that is very different from a lot of white families. I am especially privileged. I am especially privileged at this time because amongst all the other things that I have by being a white man, I grew up in a family with a grandfather who had something in him, and he devoted his entire life to service. And I don't know how it ended up being that particular cause, but his story was one of trying to make people understand that black lives is something that matters far more than anything somehow anybody has ever thought before, or the fucking white establishment, or you know what I'm saying. So I've been feeling paralyzed a lot lately in terms of my words, and I'm trying to listen more than I'm trying to speak, so I apologize if I stumble over my words and trying to figure out what I'm saying. But my grandfather spent most of his life in Africa trying to help disseminate the land in Zambia to the actual African people. He was not liked by Europeans, and he was not liked by the white people that were in Africa. And there's a lot more that I can tell you about his story, but like I said, that's not what it's about for me, because this shit ain't about me. I'd say that to give you a little bit of context of what I mean when I have an incredible amount of privilege, because somehow I have it in me, because I have a half-African cousin that was my sister who lived with me while I grew up, because I have been a guest in black culture, which is American culture, because I am a hip-hop artist myself, and I have been for my whole life, because somehow I just landed in a place where I was invited into that. And I've been a guest in that. And I somehow have had the privilege to understand what it means to actually be a fucking guest. And stop trying to just take things that don't belong to you. Like the people that look like me have been doing for so fucking long. And I cannot take that shit anymore. That's why I'm fucking here. That's why we drove out here today, so that we could be a part of what is happening. Because my grandfather passed away 2 days ago. And I'm not grieving for him passing away at a time when the world has gone fucking crazy and so many things are in flames. I am grieving for the death of George Floyd and for the death of Breonna Taylor, and I am so excited that he had the opportunity to watch this happen as he passed on to wherever the fuck he went. I grew up in Minneapolis, and I was in Europe and ended up coming back and staying there instead of coming home to New York City to hide from the coronavirus, to avoid the fear, to avoid danger. And immediately after I left, my city went up in flames because a man was murdered. And of course, we are grieving, and we need to grieve. We need to grieve together, because this shit is fucked, and this shit has been fucked. But that is why we're lighting things on fire, and that is why we are protesting peacefully. Now, I say we are lighting things on fire, but we are not the ones who are lighting things on fire, and y'all know that. I don't have to tell you all the specifics to the story, and who co-ops this, and who takes that, because there are a lot of people out here, but I gotta tell you, like what was being said before, sometimes the only thing a child in a village can do is just watch it burn. Sometimes there's not much more that you can do. So I'm here to tell you, whatever your privileges are, you gotta own those. That is your responsibility. You have to utilize that shit. Motherfuckers need to stop being afraid of the fact that they have God-given privileges, and they need to fucking utilize that shit. Because otherwise, you are not you have no reason to be here as a part of fucking humanity. You know what I mean? I don't know if that sounds crazy, but y'all know what I mean. You know, if you got a voice, you gotta use it, y'all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You said some truth. You said some truth. You said some truth. You said some truth, man. You said some truth.
His megaphone was a little loud, so I love it now, man. It's I actually, the stores were all sold out of megaphones. That's a blessing, an undercover blessing. That means people are taking up arms. Yeah. Our voice is our arms. And the more you can amplify your voice, it's kind of like upgrading your weapons.
Right, right.
So I upgrade my weapons soon as the stores restock. But for the newcomers, the topic is, why are you here? Everyone has a reason that they're here, that they're marching. And I don't want to be the only one talking all night. Really.
So loud.
Just talk.
Hi, my name is Charlene, and I'm here today as an immigrant. Originally was born in Zimbabwe. I was actually one of the first people in my entire family to be born out of segregation. And my brother was born in segregation. My grandfather wasn't even allowed to have a birth certificate, so nobody knew how old he was. And I'm still not a U.S. citizen. And when I told my parents that I was coming to this, they asked me why. What will happen if I get arrested? It won't be good. It really won't be good for me. I can't have a record. I can't get arrested. I just can't. But I also can't sit down. I can't have this happening. I can't sleep. How can I sleep and know that I haven't done anything as a person who has had the privilege in my family to be the first person born out of segregation in my country? I need to be out here. And yeah, it's scary. And I thought that I wasn't going to do it because I'll lose it all. I'll go back to Zimbabwe, a place I haven't been in over 20 years now. And, you know, when you get deported, you can't come back for 10 years. So I'll leave everything that I know. Everything that I know, but it's worth it. To be out in these streets, I need my voice to be heard. Because Black lives fucking matter. They do. And we need to be heard. And I'm willing to risk it all. And you all are willing to risk it all. And we have to do what we have to do. And I just wanted to say that.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Power to the people!
Thank you so much.
We say, defund the police, right? You next. I got a special guest. We say defund the police. Where should those funds go? My guess is education, honestly.
Yeah.
Why is it when unemployment goes up, the police does mass hiring? I don't get it. Why don't they take that money and invest in education, educate America, invest in our future? I did say I have a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Batman.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I have encaged him already, so he will not be released for 200 years. So he stays behind this cage, and we all are okay for the moment. But I'm here in dual capacity as a man of justice, as Batman from the Justice League, and as a resident of the District of Columbia, Ward 8. I live on the other side of the river. The mayor and the District of Columbia Public Schools chancellor has mandated racist and militaristic practices upon the black bodies of our boys and girls in Ward 7 and Ward 8. This practice is called Relay, R-E-L-A-Y. And these practices, what they do is there's a structure from the school to prison structure that works upon compliance, obeying. No white child in Northwest, in this area, is mandated by the mayor or mandated by the District of Columbia Public Schools to comply to Relay. If you're a taxpayer here in the District of Columbia, nearly $1 million of your money, tax money, is being paid for this program, for these racist, militaristic practices. Principals of these schools are being terminated as we speak because they're standing against the injustice of these racist and militaristic practices. They're being terminated because they stand up for Black Lives Matters. But the mayor, although she has put down this, what I call, and many others have called, a nice yellow brick road, but she has forgotten, as a Washingtonian, the black lives across the river. Again, I stand here as a resident of the Ward 8 across the river. We're the most impoverished. Folks, we have one grocery store for 80,000 residents. One grocery store for 80,000 residents. You want to talk about food desert? That's a food desert. One grocery store for 80,000 people. And she wants to say Black Lives Matter. This is a tit for tat. Skip Trump. This is not about black people in the District of Columbia. Muriel Bowser, get your knee off our neck in Ward 8. We can't breathe. We are gasping for air. And you want to dare put this yellow brick road here. Put it in Ward 8 and really talk about our lives matter. Defund the MPD. They got plenty of money. You put in millions to their 2021 budget. But, however, you're forgetting about us, the people, the Black Lives Matters in Ward 8. Thank you.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
It's hard to follow up with that. Okay, I'm going to just say this up front, and people may hate me for saying it. Okay, when you say defund the police, what does that mean? Because, well, who's going to arrest all the dirty cops? Well, we need cops for that. Who's going to arrest Donald Trump? You could arrest him right now just for Monday. Where are you going to put him? I mean, he's a nice jail now, but that's a little too nice. You could put 20 homeless families in there and put Trump in the D.C. jail. That would be fine. So, where do you put? I'm asking. I don't have an answer. I'm asking. I want it to be a conversation. It's not a lecture. Okay, we defund the cops.
Batman's getting his picture taken.
Eric
all of the nation, with all of the world against injustice. I'm also here as a DC Ward 8 resident, and I'm here to stand against the injustice that is happening in my ward, where I live, in Ward 8. We are the oppressed people of the District of Columbia. This is a revolt against the oppressed people of the District of Columbia, because the mayor has printed this beautiful yellow brick road here as a tit for tat against Trump. But she has the power that she refuses to use to change the lives of our children in Ward 8. Right now, a program called Relay has been mandated by her, who is over all of education in the District of Columbia, and the chancellor of the DC Public Schools. And they have mandated racist and militaristic practices that are school-to-prison pipeline structure that harms black bodies. 900,000, nearly $1 million of taxpayer money is being used for this racist practice, and she can change this with just speaking no, but she refuses to. So I'm calling her out, and I'm telling her that in Ward 8, get your knee off our neck, because we can't breathe. We're gasping for air. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And with that, Batman is out. Very powerful words from Mr. Batman there. I was going to ask him some questions, but he quickly left the area. I want to let you guys know before I wrap this up, because the crowd is dwindling quite a bit, and it's quite late. I'll be here through Tuesday, so I'm gonna wrap up. But first, I want you guys to please subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Subscribe. Tell your friends, your family, your cat, your dog, subscribe. We are out in the field reporting. We've had freelancers reporting for us all over the place. LA, Philly, Minneapolis. This is what Status Coup does. Oh, New York City as well. Jordan's been out. Jordan's under the weather right now. Victoria says her cats are subscribed. Thank you. Please, if you can, we have equipment needs. We have other funding needs, including hiring additional freelancers. And you can help us out at any amount. Go to gofundme.com/status-coup-news. And you guys are just, this is all funded by you. It's for you. We are out here reporting on the stories that matter. So please, if you can support us, please do. Subscribe. It really helps if you share our stuff. Go take a look at our YouTube channel and share on Twitter, on Facebook, on subreddits. People power really helps spread the word, helps everybody figure out that Status Coup even exists. Thank you so much for all the super chats. Karen, I see yours. Know that the people out here are in the streets because they're passionate, because they're fighting. And you've heard through the interviews that we've done all across the country why this matters and what people are doing and what people plan to do. And people, you heard Batman say, you know, they're not just going to accept the yellow brick road of Mayor Bowser. They're not going to accept anything less than true action across this country. So thank you so much for watching. I know it's late, so I really appreciate you being up late with me. I'm gonna head back to my hotel, and just thank you so much. Thank you, French. Awesome. You guys are just absolutely amazing. Oh, you can also join as a member for extra bonus content, statuscoup.com/join. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.